Something's been catching my eye in the AI world lately.
Was it Zundamon?
People keep saying that Chinese AI models are mostly open weight, like DeepSeek and Qwen.
But the US has one again, can even get PT gas. Is the situation new that you sent?
That's exactly where the trap is. Today, I'm going to explain why only the Chinese players can release flagship-class models. And I'm coming at it from a strategic angle.
Flagship-Class. I just had my attention.
Here's the thing. What really matters is not whether a model is open weight.
Wikimedia.
What matters is whether a company is playing its top card.
Top card. Meaning, whether there are only single companies shown this model for flagship.
Exactly. Yama, Jima, and GPTAS are genuinely impressive. No question. But for their respective companies, none of them is the main fortress.
What do you mean by top main fortress?
Google's top model is Gemini. Jima is the lightweight, public-facing family. A different lane entirely. The GPTAS OpenAI released in 2025. OpenAI itself says it's an efficiency-focused general-purpose model. The GPT flagship. And Nina's Llama is strong. But it doesn't compete in the same commercial space as the top closed models. The closed models from OpenAI and Answer pick.
I see. Voice standardization open source for research kina.
Exactly. The Chinese side, though, completely different situation. DeepSeek R1 was released in January 2025. It was a reasoning-focused model, said to rival OpenAI ISO 1 at the time.
How close was the point?
On the math benchmark IME 2020, DeepSeek R1 scored 79.8, and R1 scored 79.2. AMIC H500, R1 hit 97.3. And one hit 96.4. Even on SWE bench verified for software engineering. R1 edged out a 1. 49 points versus 48.9.
These are against those. Inside there is for actually comes out ahead.
And the weights are fully public. Anyone can download and run them. The price? About 1/27th of OpenAI's price. Per input token.
That's an order does not repeat the size.
And Qwen is keeping pace. Qwen 235. H1G2B was released in April 2025. It's a 235 billion parameter Moline model. Only 22 billion parameters are active at runtime. The Alibaba team called it their most advanced and intelligent system. Weights are public on that one too.
Show me the local sport open knife. What's model? Chinese style. Visual listening is zero in a website. We website some US message.
Lay it all out. And the picture is something like this. Major US labs release Llama, Jima, GPTAS, and so on. These are strong, but often not the company's actual commercial flagship. Chinese players released DeepSeek R1 and top-tier Qwen. They're putting flagship-class or near-flagship models out, going for the market itself. And US Frontier Labs keep their top-tier GPT, Claude, and Gemini largely fenced behind AP, isn't products.
But standardized, this is such a strong model. Hoping to be more accessible to talent. Human API, what's in US player HQ?
Normally, yeah. But the Chinese side has circumstances that don't allow that.
Circumstances.
First, big companies in the US, Europe, and Japan have real political and security resistance. They don't want to send confidential data to a Chinese company's API.
Yes, understandable.
And then there's the cloud infrastructure and enterprise sales networks. OpenAI plus Microsoft. Anthropic plus AWS. These US combinations are already deeply entrenched. These happen if the Chinese side matched them on pure performance. Fighting a close day, PI battle on the same field, puts them at a serious distribution disadvantage.
シャアは気球で広めにします。
They flipped the whole approach. Instead of selling via API, they released the wave. Unmud servers, local environments, and cloud providers run them on their own. Plus researchers and startups all over the world.
I see. Sending data to a candidate API makes people know this. But learning the way it's out on issue is a conversation entirely.
Exactly. Open waves are also how Chinese companies root around the wall of trust. Here's the most important part of everything we're talking about today.
So,
The Chinese side's goal isn't simply to give it away to gain popularity. Their goal is to become the standard building block of the AI era.
a scandal thought.
Once you publish a flagship-class model, a chain reaction kicks off. First, developers all over the world start experimenting on that model. Then, fine-tuned variants, quantized versions, inference optimization, tool integrations, agent framework support. All of it advances at once. And before long, companies start thinking, this is good enough. They start moving away from closed AP in certain areas.
So, whether they don't to the side of the standard model, they are going to the side of the standard model that's its own nuts.
Exactly. And that's genuinely a problem for you frontier labs. Because in the real world, 85-point performance, run it yourself, readable, low cost, beats 90-point performance with monthly fees and day PI charges. And it does so way more often than people expect.
Even without peak performance, though they are squares.
The real shock of DeepSeek, R1 wasn't just, oh, a Chinese model is strong.
That not was the real point.
It was that a model with near-frontier reasoning performance showed up in a form that anyone could freely use.
That's the hell of it.
Once that happens, the whole US model starts to wobble. That model of selling high-end reasoning expensively via API. The GPT and Claude models are still powerful. Absolutely. But for developers and companies, not every single task requires OpenAI's flagship.
Was last DeepSeek then given more recently?
On April 24, 2026, DeepSeek released the new V4 generation. The largest model, V4 Pro, comes in at 1.6 trillion parameters. And here's the wild part. On the Code Forces rating, V4 Pro hit 3,206. That edges past GPT 5.4 S3000, 168.
The task GPT starts quite slow and it's untitled just programming.
Yep. On the other hand, in world knowledge and depth, they still trail Gemini 3.1 Pro and GP 5.4 by a small margin. DeepSeek themselves admit in their tech report they're 3 to 6 months behind the cutting-edge frontier model.
But the price gap is rather notable.
OpenAI charges $30 per million output tokens. Anthropic charges $25. DeepSeek Plea for Pro, $3.48. About 1/10 the level.
That is a great chat support as well.
Public. And just as importantly, it's optimized to run on Huawei's Ascend 950 series. That makes it relatively immune to US GPU export controls.
So this is a direct considerous task that you can task. Being like that the US revenue model.
Qwen's strategy is actually pretty different from DeepSeek's.
In what way?
Alibaba is a cloud provider at its core. So the more Qwen spreads worldwide, the more presence Alibaba cloud and model scope gain. And that's by design.
So, rather than nothing down the model itself, controlling the cloud, but as open platforms come out that is the most sensitive business competition.
Exactly. In fact, Qwen 3.6 Plus was released in April 2026. It's a coding agent specialized model with a 1 million token context window. It's built to handle everything from front-end development to repository-scale problem solving. It's clearly aimed at production use.
Unknowingly tokens. Custom level when you can see the entire message repository in one tap.
Alibiable strategy basically goes like this. The weights are public. If you want to run them yourself, go for it. But if you want to seriously deploy in production, Alibiable Cloud is going to be your most convenient option.
그래서 경사 스테모가 근사차 추천하듯이 뭐뭐 strategy.
It is similar, but there's a key difference. The Chinese side releases models much closer to Flagship-Class, which makes the ecosystem impact far bigger. Now let's flip it. Why don't you as players open up their top-tier models?
勝負前の在トイレ別はさっそうちちプレイにしちゃったりしてや
Of course not. There are real, rational reasons. 3 big ones. Actually,
今日は
first, the revenue structure. For U.S. Frontier Labs, the flagship model is the revenue source. Full stop. It's the core of the company's enterprise value. GPT for OpenAI, Claude for Anthropic, Gemini for Google. These drive the APIs, subscriptions, and enterprise contracts, plus cloud partnerships and agent products.
로메이슨이다 오시면 퀸해야 되는 것도 없어서 약간 편하게 가자 더 지켜다 타이렉스.
Second, security and risk. Once you release the weights of a flagship-class model, you can't stop dangerous uses. Within the API, you can cut off access, monitor usage, pull the plug. But once weights are running locally, they're out there forever.
모두 제기장이 베스트. 화제와 조회를 시작나 이노 스튜디오 베스트. 나라 사무아이.
Third, a strategic conclusion that ties all of that together. That's why US players land on this approach. Keep the flagship closed. If we release something, it's a tiered out, purpose limited, lightweight, or research oriented.
나준타. 고가네일 아래서 스페셜 형님께 지키는 아삭스 토마스자이. 가즈나 세신 시소크 시키는 어쩌다시 나도. 나라 기업 지키. 스타스 파츠코마 그카드자.
Exactly. So here's the clean way to put it. US open weight releases are mainly an ecosystem defense move. Chinese open weight releases are a more aggressive market disruption move. That distinction really matters. Okay, let me pull it all together.
Please.
This isn't a difference of ideology or goodwill. It's a difference in winning paths. The US closes its top-tier models and sells them as a service. China opens models close to its top tier and goes after the standard. Whether to release flagship-class models isn't a matter of corporate culture. It's determined by market position, revenue structure, and geopolitics.
China 시저쇼의 사서가 캔 거는 보고 트러스트 효의 PI 쇼트 시즈비긴 나도스 주피아천 그시다이도 되그도 클림을 시켜다 제어가 고추다
And for the US, staying closed is the revenue source. From a security standpoint, closing is a necessity.
Both sides are shows trying the most rational hand to get 고추다
That's exactly it. Chinese AIs are releasing flagship-class models out of the goodness of their hearts.
And you must smart as keeping their stories without us me stack.
Both sides are just playing the most rational card to win. China distributes to own the standard. The US closes to defend revenue and control. That difference is the heart of the AI Gemini fight.
Next time you see, can you DeepSeek what human model? The party was casted. What code the last possession is this design to undercut? You may find the answer at the domination.
If you enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe.
Until next time.